welcome into episode 2 of the season 2. Back with our boy Trae. And first topic of conversation, unfortunately, it's got to be a sad day for me because, oh, it's terrible. It's a terrible day today. Because yesterday or 2 days ago, roughly, we had found out that our star promising quarterback, JJ McCarthy, had knee soreness. And originally I was like, oh, it's just knee soreness. He'll be fine. He'll be great. Nope, he's got a torn meniscus, got out for the rest of the season. That's
Yeah. Whenever I saw, because me and you, we were talking about it on Tuesday. We were like, like it should be that bad. He should be back by like at least like week 2 or week 3. It shouldn't be like if it's like knee soreness, but now it's like torn meniscus. I was like, oh
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And y'all are really tight on the quarterback position because I was like, who else do y'all have?
We have Sam Darnold and he's fine. Like
And
he'll
Darnold,
he'll
yeah, y'all have said Darnold, but
he'll take us
he
to 6 wins, but that's not. And we have Nick Chuck and Duck Mullins.
Yeah, I feel bad. Cause like I just feel bad for y'all because like y'all dealt with injuries last year with Kirk Cousins, and then now with a good young quarterback, and he tore his meniscus in the
But the
not
thing
before
is,
before the
a
season
meniscus
started.
tear isn't terrible. He can recover from that. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
not.
it's not like
It's not
bad.
like it's not like he tears it and he's gonna come back a different quarterback. He'll still be the same guy. That's not bad. If it was his Achilles, I would have been really upset because then that's different. That's a different area. But for me, it's let's go down the list. Let's see. So we lose JJ, we lose Addison. First to a suspension. Now he's possibly done for the rest of the year because he was carted off the field. So that's two big pieces potentially. Hawkinson's out for the season, I believe. If I'm correct on that, I think I am. Our young promising cornerback tragically passes away. Rest in peace. And we lose another cornerback. That's three. That's four players. That's four pieces in the span of a month. Too.
Well, yeah,
What? How can you? As for someone that's been a fan since since I watched like Brett Favre. Heck, I was there. I was there when we had I watched the twilight of Culpepper because like 2004-5 era, and then I had to watch Tavares Jackson be a quarterback. I had to watch that. I had to watch Christian Ponder be a quarterback. I know you guys. That's the thing about Cowboys fans. You guys can't complain because you guys have always been blessed with good quarterbacks.
yeah. That's the thing. Like, cause like I'm starting to realize that like we always had it good and we always messed it up come playoff time. And it's like, well, we did have a wide receiving core, a really good one in 2021.
Yeah.
And then our defense wet the bed.
Yep.
Dak, I like Dak, but that was like the one playoff game he messed up.
Yeah.
It was
Dude, I
not
think
good,
I believe I broke my hand hitting my chair. That kind of hurt.
but it was like one of those things like we just gotta take care of business whenever it comes playoff time. Because last year we had a good team, and then our defense changed schemes. Normally, like the Cowboys run a man to man defense. We changed it to zone, and then Green Bay cooked us with fresh grease. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And then put icing on the cake. Dak threw a pick six. It was now 27-0. It was like not even the
The first pick he threw, I was like, this game's already over. It was like in the second
okay.
quarter. I was
That
like,
was
this game's
yeah.
over.
That was a pass interference on Jair Alexander. That was
Dude,
a
he gets away with that a lot, I
oh
noticed.
yeah, yeah. It was like blatant too, and then the refs missed that, and I was like,
Yeah, this
my thing
game's
is,
yeah.
don't try to force it. That's Dak's thing. He tries to like, oh, like maybe I can like pass it through like that section, the little like
No.
area, little small crevice. No, he only did that once, and that was like that one game against Cleveland in 2020, that COVID season. I don't know how he pulled that off. It was like two defenders, and he threw to
Yep.
Mark for a touchdown.
Yeah, he
I
gets the
was like,
one. He gets the one good throw, and he's like, "Now I can do this anytime I want to throw." It's like, no,
you
you're
know,
not. You're not Mahomes, and you don't possess any of the intangibles that he has.
you know what's crazy? He's like he's a top 10 quarterback, probably dang near top 7. Like,
No, he's not. But what are you talking about, Trae?
if you look at the stats, saying he's the same.
I watched the 10 interceptions. I watched the 10 interceptions during the playoffs. I watched that.
Yeah, I know. He's just him and like he has the same stats as Patrick Mahomes since like the 20 like I think either career or since like the 2020 season. So like they have like the same stats and everyone like treats them differently
Well,
because it's
because Mahomes gets his team to the playoffs
I know.
further than
It's just
the divisional or the wild card, and Dak can't. I'm not saying that's Dak's fault. That's not, some of that
is
can't be his fault, but most of that sometimes is the players around him. I think you guys shot yourself in the foot when CD started beefing with Dak on the sideline. I was like, you're shooting you guys. You guys need to be on the same page. And I know CD wants the ball. I love that about him, that he wants to be competitive, wants the ball. But you have to realize you have Jair Alexander covering you, and then you get triple and double teamed every 5 seconds. And then you can't trust Gallup. You couldn't trust Turpin to make a catch. Yes, Turpin's a fast runner, but he couldn't catch. That's why he was on return team. And
now.
you lose Gallup. You guys should have kept Amari Cooper. I don't know what Jerry was thinking there.
Hey, we might trade him back. We don't know, but he's old now in football years, but we'll see. But at the same time, we got. I mean, Jalen Tolbert, or I think he's gonna be our X. I think if CD signs back with us, does an extension because it's gonna be CD at the Z or the X. CD at the Z, and then Tolbert at the X, and then we got at the Y. Cook Brandon Cooks is gonna be our slot receiver, and then Ferguson's gonna be our tight end, which is for sure he's gonna start, and then hopefully, and then the running back position, that's a question mark because I don't know what are we gonna be doing with that position because it's gonna be either Rico Dowdle or Zeke gonna have like mixture of carries, and
Oh, Zeke.
Zeke, yeah,
I can't believe he came back.
yeah, I'm surprised too because
I like how he thought he'd come back. That's so funny.
I mean, my thing is, okay, Zeke can help us with the pass blocking, because
Yeah.
Pollard kind of killed us with that. I love Pollard.
Yeah.
Hopefully he does good in Tennessee. And it's just whenever it came to like third down and like third and goal at the 1, we always get stopped or something. So it's kind of like we really need that extra power, and that's when Zeke comes into play, and that's why like that power back.
Yeah.
I know
Exactly.
he might not be like the young Zeke that we knew growing up, but he's like that power, like pretty much that fullback power back that he
Yeah.
can like still like bulldozer you if he wants to. And then Rico Dottle can be that secondary. He kind of reminds me of the late great Marion Barber, rest in peace.
Yep.
That he can still like he's elusive and he can still like truck you every time he gets. So like it's just like hopefully they can manage that, you know.
Yeah. I saw someone. I know you know him. You've seen his videos. Scooter Magruder.
Yeah.
Scooter's like, yeah, Cowboys gonna have. We're gonna go 12 wins. I'm like, What are you smoking? I see 8 wins. Personally, I see 8. I think that eight's fair because your defensive coordinator. What is it? What's his name? I just had his name.
Oh, when you talking about last year, Dan Quinn,
Yeah, where did he go?
Washington. He's the new head coach for
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Washington.
yeah.
And then,
He. So your new defensive coordinator, who I just want to point out for the record, he ran a pretty good defense,
oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
but you're under McCarthy's system, and McCarthy's system is prevent defense late in the game when you're winning. Which I've said this a million times before. Prevent defense prevents you from winning the game because you're too, especially with the defensive secondary that you guys have. You can't rely on Micah, and you can sure as shit can't rely on Trayvon. As much as I love Stephon, like I love him when he was in Minnesota, his brother is not as good. His brother should be a receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Now I don't know why he's a defender.
he was a receiver. Then like he couldn't get any playing time, so he went up to Saban when he was in Alabama. He told him like, "Oh, let me play DB," and so that's where he wanted to play at. Well, like he's solid, but he like I'm
You
not
know,
trying to.
sometimes when he looks, he plays like he's Deion Sanders, and that's great. But other times he plays like he's Artie Burns and gets beat.
Burnt.
Yeah, it gets third-degree burns from a simple stuff like flea flickers.
Because this is when hopefully it plays out. Because like our cornerback or DBs are like kind of like underrated because we got Deron Bland and
Yeah,
Jordan Lewis coming back. So that's two sides of the field because Deron Bland, he broke the record for like 5 pick sixes in a season. And
yeah.
then we got Jordan Lewis, who's a good nickelback. So I was like, maybe because Jordan Lewis, like he's good, but like he's short. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11"
Mhm.
cornerback. So like he can play that nickelback.
Yeah.
So it just depends on like the schemes that we play. And if everyone just plays and sticks to their assignments, we should be good. I mean,
That,
not
that's
like
that's key though. Sticks to their assignments. That never happens.
yeah, but whenever you say eight, I mean like with our division and our schedule, I could see us winning like 10 to 11 games, not 12 to 13. 12 is kind of pushing it. 12 is like max.
Mhm.
10 is like the lowest.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I
like the only like because
It comes down to your running game. You're gonna if you can't run the ball with Zeke,
oh yeah, we're
then you're gonna turn into the 2018 Steelers. You're gonna be a passing first team, and
which
you're gonna run CD into the ground, which he might get injured if he pray to God he doesn't. But you then who do you have? Your receiving core depth chart isn't the best. You need to go out and get someone. I know that I'm gonna say this. Juju Smith is available.
I
I know
saw that
he got
he did
cut.
get released. Um, I don't like how old is he? That's the thing. I'm like
The talent's that he's only like 30, I think. He's relatively young still. I'm correct about that. Let me double check.
he's probably like 28, 29,
I, I
maybe.
I would pick him up. I mean, he doesn't sound that bad.
I mean, nothing's better than depth. That's all we need is depth.
Oh, he's 27,
Oh, okay. Bring him on. Bring him.
and he'd be depth. He'd just be
There's more depth.
he'd be a third or fourth option.
Actually, I'll take that, but he might be a second option if you think about it, because just his name in general,
Oh
and like
yeah,
he can still make big plays. Because
he's
if you
got
think about it,
but he can't create space without additional help.
pretty much. So like,
He needs help to help. He needs like CD to drag two or three guys with him so he can get open.
yeah.
I
So pretty much like if you put CD at the Z, and then Juju at the X, then
You're
at
cooking.
the and then at the Y either Cooks or Ferguson. Then on the A is either like interchangeable. So it's
Ferguson reminds me of what Hawkinson or Thielen is. And the reason I say that is because he's got good hands,
oh yeah, he's like a top 5 tight end in the league.
but he's got a temper problem. Because
Oh,
when there's a scrum, he's the first guy to start swinging.
oh,
I'm
like
like, dude, you gotta chill. Like you can't. They need you more than you need that. Like you gotta calm down there, buddy. Like I saw the game against I think it was the
Seattle.
Commanders, or I call them the Deadskins because yeah, that's funny. Pretty sure I'm gonna get copyrighted for that. That's
They good.
probably some sort of racist thing I just said, but
No, yeah,
we'll cut that out. We'll cut that out anyway. Um, but it was a scrum, and he freaking swung, and I was like, why are you swinging? He only got he didn't get he didn't get in trouble for it, but but it wasn't like a full on like MMA swing. It was still it was like a little shove, but like a shove punch kind of.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, you're not getting suspended for that. I think he got fined like 30,000, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what they're worth.
That's not bad.
No, but you saw the video of the defensive line shoving the Chargers. Oh, the Rams. Is it the Rams or the Chargers?
It's Rams, yeah, one of
Yeah,
our defensive linemen, and then he then he ran away, turned around, and ran. I was like, bro,
bro, you gotta.
you
He
can't
didn't.
do
You
that.
can't no.
I don't.
And Jerry doesn't care. Jerry only cares if a guy can play football.
And
Yeah,
like,
and he knows that's gonna create controversy, so he's gonna get more money from it. Look, upside for you guys, wild card exit.
wild card. I mean, it's
And
probably
look at who you if
it's
you
gonna
look.
be the same thing, different year. We're probably
Yeah,
gonna win the wild card, and then we're gonna get overconfident as a fan base. We're like, oh my god, we might actually make do something, and then we're gonna go to either Philadelphia or San Francisco and get our butts whooped. And everyone's gonna be like, oh, why? What was like? And everyone's gonna look at McCarthy, and Dak was like, why, y'all, why? Which like Dak is probably gonna do good in this season, which I hope so he does for his sake and his contract wise. And then like for McCarthy, he better do good, or he's I don't think he's on the hot seat. He's been see that's the thing.
yeah, but that's what he does all the time. He was kept around way too long in Green Bay because he was like, oh, he's not a bad coach. He keeps getting us to the playoffs. It's like, yeah, eventually that wears thin. That's why he got fired in the first place because he kept leading Aaron Rodgers to the playoffs. Yet it was Rodgers carrying the bulk of it, and now all of a sudden you kept getting eliminated in the divisional. I think sometimes they made it to the NFC Championship, but they would get eliminated.
By San
You
Francisco or
can't you
else.
can't do that. So I think his job is for sure on the hot seat. But here's I said this, I think I said this before to you. I know I said last episode that Dak will probably not get re-signed. And I still believe that. My thing would be if they don't re-sign him, who do you go get? Do you draft a quarterback? I think they're going to draft a quarterback because you don't want to
Yeah,
rely.
that's
You can't
and,
rely on Cooper Rush. I'm sorry, Cooper Rush is not. No.
we can't rely on Trey Lance. I saw the preseason game.
Yeah, I love Trae. I loved his game when he played in college, but
It does not. It's
it
not
hasn't
gonna.
translated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like what announce the broadcast team was saying, like he just needs to calm down and let the game come to him, and have fun, and try not to like.
Yeah, he's trying too hard. He's trying to earn. He's trying too hard to earn a spot, which in turn makes him not earn the spot because he's not good. But I did see something today. Not today, yesterday. ESPN has fired Robert Griffin III
Why? That I saw that.
in exchange for Jason Kelsey. Now listen, I love Jason as much as the next guy. He's funny. He's a cool guy, but
Why is
as someone that's watched Robert Griffin III do commentary and do analyst work, he's very good at what he does.
yeah, and then like the way like on pretty much he brings like cares like charisma to the games.
Yes.
He has like charismatic like personality, and it was like it makes you like laugh, and it's
Yes.
like enjoy watching the game. And like true on Twitter, like
Yeah.
he does like funny stuff on Twitter, and like he does like his deep analysis on Twitter too. So it's kind of like why ESPN?
And a part of this feels as though, and I don't like to speculate. I hate doing this, but I'm going to say it. It just feels as though this is a direct result because his brother's dating a pop superstar, and his podcast. Their podcast is big, huge. Their podcast is big right now. It just feels that he got this job because he will generate headlines, he will generate revenue, and he will, whereas Robert Griffin didn't really do that. When you if I'm RG3, dude, go to college, go be an analyst at college. Seriously, like someone
Yeah.
could use you. Do something. Like I would
Who's
hire him.
the best one?
Hell, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would hire him. Hell, I'm fine. But it just feels as though it's gonna. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't sit well with me. It really
Yeah,
doesn't.
they fired this other girl, this other lady. I forgot her. I didn't know her
Oh
name.
yeah. The sideline reporter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, whenever I saw that, I was like, what are they? Okay, what are they trying to do?
Well, maybe.
Because like, if it is what I think they're gonna do,
Yeah.
because they're trying to like sign back Stephen A. because his contract is coming up, so they had to do like budget cuts so they can keep Stephen A. And
Yeah.
if I was
Exactly.
Stephen A, just go and do entertainment. If
Exactly.
if you want to do sports as well, do like like a late night talk show and make more money. Because
Yeah.
late night talk shows make more money, and everyone tunes into that because ESPN is getting to like I don't know, it's getting like bad to watch, and then like to production going back to like the finals, it's like they don't really like care as much for the final. Like the presentation is not there anymore, you know. And that's why everyone's saying like, why does it feel like the NBA finals are like boring now?
Yeah.
And it doesn't help whenever like the team that are playing is like outmatched. Saying like just
Yeah. And I think in terms of the sports world, there's too many. It's no longer about like look at like ESPN in the 90s. It's all about who scored, what were the stats, what was the game. Now you're lucky to even get an a hockey highlight or a baseball highlight. You're gonna get basketball and you're gonna get football highlights. Barely are you ever gonna get college football. And then outside of that, outside of the highlights that you do get, which are you're never going to see a Minnesota Timberwolves highlight in your life. You're never going to see a Utah Jazz highlight. What you're going to see are Mavs, Celtics, LeBron, Lakers, Curry. You're going to see the big stars. It's all about big stars, big names. Then when they get to the regular shows like around PTI and around the horn, all that stuff, then you get the hot takes. That's all it is. It's all sports talk is now is hot takes. The reason I think you know this. The reason I wanted to start a podcast with you was because we have hot takes, sure, but it's mostly our opinion. It's
oh yeah,
not a hot take. It's not a hot take where I'm like, oh yeah, Kirk Cousins is gonna win MVP. Like I'm not saying that. That's not gonna happen. Never is that gonna happen unless he balls out, which he hasn't done since his like
when he was in Washington.
yeah when he was in Washington. He's not gonna do that. So, with that being said, that is kind of why I was like, I want to listen to a podcast, whether it be mine or someone's that actually can give us an understanding of what our opinion are, because we're just two guys that like watching sports, and everyone else that has a podcast is kind of the same way. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I try to look at all sides of it. Like I crap on the Cowboys as much as the next guy, but I still am understanding of what I'm seeing from their perspective. I try to see it from their perspective as well. Like, why hasn't Jerry signed CD? Well, very simple. Jerry doesn't want to pay him because he's worried that CD is going to fall off the map. Because I think Jerry wants to figure out the Dak situation before he goes to CD. Because if you can't figure out a good quarterback situation, CD is going to walk. Because if you say you release Dak and CD's like you're gonna draft a quarterback, then no, I don't want to play until you get me a good quarterback. So as much as I hate to say it, CD's in the enviable position where he can control where he goes if he wants to go somewhere.
Yep.
I don't ever want to see. I saw rumors today that someone's like, "Well, what if CD gets traded for Justin Jefferson?" I said, "You shut up."
I saw that too. I was like,
It's like you
hey,
shut your mouth. No, that's not happening.
nah, we're not gonna.
If that happens, if that happens, it's a fleece. No, you guys fleece Minnesota because no matter what you get, you're getting JJ.
Because Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the game right now, and then CD's a top 5 wide receiver. Because I can put him at number 2, or like because Tyreek's number 2, and then number 3 is interchangeable with Chase and CD, and
Yeah,
then
no,
AJ's
I
at
would
5.
say I would say for me it's JJ. I know what's his name put himself at number two. Was it not Waddle? Who am I thinking of?
Reek, Tyreek.
Tyreek puts himself number one, obviously. But after I for this upcoming season, I would put Tyreek first. As a Vikings fan, I'll put Tyreek first, and here's why: because JJ was out, he was injured.
Okay.
He didn't really play as much. He still had I think he still had like 1,000 yard receiving season, which is impressive for other games he played. But Tyreek was mostly there, and mostly I think Tyreek was injured a little bit too, but he was still mostly there. So I was like, I got to give it to him. And then fantasy league's coming up, so I'm excited to watch my entire team die this year. Because last year I drafted basically everyone. I drafted Mahomes. So you know this, Simeon. I drafted. We were in a fantasy football league with our friends over at North Texas Television, and Simeon was in the league. I first pick. My first pick was second overall because Adam had drafted JJ. I drafted Patrick Mahomes. And I get a message text from Simeon that just is laden with curses. He's like, "You suck. That was my guy. Are you kidding me? I tried to trade, and then the next like week or so, it's just everyone's trying to trade everyone. My entire team by week 3 was injured. My entire starting group.
You know what's crazy? For because my family did a fantasy league. I pulled a cowboy. You see, what happened was my team went 15-1. It's like you seen like that horse meme where it's
Yep,
like horse like fire,
yep,
fire,
yep, yep.
fire like first week of the season, mid mid season like fire, and then come playoff time, drawing of a horse.
Exactly.
Because like who got hurt? Both my running backs got hurt, and then like I think it was like I had Keenan Allen, who and Jamar Chase.
Okay.
At the end of the season, they pretty much both the Bengals and then the Chargers were like, "You're done playing."
Yeah,
I was like,
bro, really.
"Why?"
My
Because
best
I was in the
receiver,
playoffs too, and I was 15-1, and I lost in the first.
exactly. So my best receiver when my entire team got injured, my best receiver was Drake London.
Oh God, bless you.
And my starting running back was Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs ain't not bad, but like,
No, but but he's so inconsistent. He would put up like 13 points one week, 5 points the next week, 30 points, 5 points. I was so pissed.
yeah,
And then
I had him.
I had Puka Nakua. I drafted Puka Nakua, and then I traded him. I was so dumb. I traded him because I didn't. Because again, this is before he jumped, to the starting role. He was a backup. I traded him for Bijan and um who did I trade? I traded him for Bijan and what quarterback am I thinking of? Oh, I traded him for Bijan and Kirk.
Okay.
So I thought the trade was okay. I was like, oh, the trade's good, And then Puka Nakua the next week goes off for 30 points. Uh, Kirk goes for like 10 points, and then Bijan gets like 12. And I was like, that was a dumb. I trade with Drew. And I was just like, that was a dumb trade because Drew fleeced me for sure. If you had joined the NTTV group, it would have so much fun because Jeremiah, Russo.
Yeah,
Dude was trying to trade everything in sight.
really.
Yeah, dude, he traded like his entire team halfway through the season. Like there was like the only guy was Jackson Smith and the Jigba. He was the only guy that he had left. But that's roughly all the time we have for. We got about a minute left. Trae, again, thank you. This was one of our better episodes, I think, in my opinion, because we're just talking.
Hey man, gotta do what we gotta do.
Exactly. So, all right, we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you next Friday for episode 3, and that is all.
All right, see y'all.